everything that I know, and it really has been some of the best moments in my life. I couldn't imagine having chosen a different career path. You always remember, your first heartbreaks, and we lost the state championship. I guess it was one of the first true tastes of failure that I had ever experienced, and it was a goal that I had set that I wanted to win a state championship, but those are the things that I've learned most about myself, is when I failed or fell down. It's not about the actual failure itself, it's how you respond to it.
Won the 1998 National Championship.
A brand new program, only 4 years old, going against the eternal dynasty of North Carolina.
Going into college, knowing that I had just fell short of winning a state championship and being able to kind of turn it on its head and win a national championship with Florida Gators was really great.
Well, I just remember the first training session. She came out and worked, her butt off from day one.
April Heinrichs was the coach at the time, and she was my under-16 coach when I was growing up on the youth team. So finally I get my shot.
U.S. attacking here. Here's Wambach opportunity. U.S. goes up 1-0. In her first start, Wambach has hit the back of the net here in the 7th minute.
That moment was life-changing, not because it was easy, but because it gave me the passion and motivation to continually want to do it.
1-1 game, goal battle match. Rolling on, far side. Headed by Wambach. And Wambach has scored. USA leads. That's it. USA have won the gold medal.
It's been so fitting that it's Abby Wambach that scores that winning goal. She's the player that's going to take the torch and carry the United States into the next era.
Just her knack for scoring goals and scoring big goals and showing up in those big moments has been tremendous her whole career. I mean, she's got a million goals. It's crazy.
She does it the right way. She's invested every single day, every single practice. The standards at which she sets are extremely high, and that's why the team is as successful as they are.
And it will go down as the USA's worst performance ever in the Women's World Cup.
3 minutes of additional time. There is still life for the United States.
It just takes one chance. I just kept holding my finger up. One chance, that's it.
Rapinoe gets across it. It's towards one.
In the end, losing in penalties in the final of the World Cup is a heartbreaker, but I do feel like we got so much excitement on back here in the States and couldn't be prouder. We broke into the hearts of the people that are in our country and around the world. That game drew so many fans for this team.
Little talk of redemption this week after that World Cup final defeat. Slides into Wambach. What a magnificent bingo after his 41st in international soccer for Abby Wambach. It's all over. Redemption for the United States. They've come back to win the gold medal against Japan at Wembley Stadium in London 2012.
I never thought Abby would reach 158. It really is something special given her trajectory and some of the obstacles she's had to overcome along the way.
History is made! Goal number 159! It's the international scoring record!
It's never easy to say goodbye. You always want to go out on top. You always want there to be that fairy tale-like ending. I hope that this is it, not just for me, but for this entire group of women who have showed me the way, who have taught me about myself, who have made me soul search and find out more about who I am and who I want to be.
When she comes in any role she's going to play, she's a great leader because that's what the team is feeding off of. And you can see it. First 10 minutes, we get a goal.
walk away and the team turns the page and moves on, that's what's supposed to happen. They have to move on because I want them to leave the game better than they found it.
For me to sit here and talk about Abby, one of the best players of all time, not as a soccer player but as a person, speaks a lot about how she impacts others. And for me, she's more than just a soccer player. She's so much more than that.
Abby's impact on not only soccer, but women's sports has been one that I don't think someone can really match.
I'm the luckiest person, I feel like, on the planet, and it's not because of any individual award or even playing on the grandest stage. It's because I've been able to share it.
Testing? Good. Alright, so my name's Olivia. I'm a senior on the soccer team.
I'm Gigi. I'm also a senior on the soccer team.
And we're really excited to have Abby here today.
Yes, so a little introduction to Abby Wambach, all-time leading scorer in international soccer history with 184 career goals. Last summer, after winning the World Cup, she announced her retirement, and she is known as maybe the most dominant player in the history of women's soccer. And now she's dedicating the next phase of her career towards promoting gender equality, both in the workplace and on the field. So a little personal touch, my favorite sporting event that I've ever been to was the 2011 Women's World Cup quarterfinal game, US against Brazil, where Abby had that incredible header to tie the game and force the game into extra time. And the joy and excitement of that goal and the ensuing celebration brought into my life is something I'll never forget. So let's welcome Abby Wambach.
I swear, I do some things, and when they announced that I was coming here, my Twitter feed blew up. I think it's all you guys. What is this?
A little Pioneer model.
Do I get to keep it?
Yes, I believe so.
Let me ask. You never know. Oh, what's going on? Graduate tomorrow, so
Me too.
that's exciting. Why do I not have a handheld? Seems weird. Alright. Ask away, let's go.
Okay, so we are going to ask some questions first, and then we're going to open it up to you guys. And I believe Gigi has the first question.
Yes, so here we go.
She's gonna be traumatized by this. Be nice. It's not easy getting up in front of people. Okay, so it's the worst and the best moment ever.
Probably true. So here at Smith, we're all about empowering women, and recently you've spoken a lot about gender equality, both in the workplace and on the field. And recently, members of the U.S. Women's National Team filed a wage discrimination claim against U.S. Soccer. So we wanted to know a little bit about your plan in terms of promoting awareness and change in terms of the gender pay gap and other issues like that.
Yeah, great. I love this question, especially right off the bat, because when I was playing, I had such amazing opportunities to represent my country and playing World Cups and Olympics, and I think that for me, I kind of just accepted the way things were, because as a women's national team, soccer team, we get paid pretty much more than all the other women's teams in the world. There's a few players that, obviously tennis players, Serena Williams, and some basketball players. So it was hard to complain, because you could see this whole line of other women who work just as hard as you, sacrifice just as much as you, that don't get paid nearly what you do. And I think it was more or less throughout the course of my career, I was like, oh, I should feel grateful and lucky. And towards the end, and I'll tell you guys this, because I feel like I'm amongst family, towards the end of my career, when I was just deciding to retire, I started to think about what it would feel like to be retired, and I started to get really angry with myself, because being treated less than is something you let somebody do to you. I never really put up a huge fight throughout my career, and so I started it, and then I eventually retired, and I started to get angry, not just at the situation, but at myself. And so since then, my former teammates have filed this grievance. I'm so proud of them, because they aren't going to let somebody else or the market, the slow, steady increase of women's rights, dictate what they do, legally speaking, and what they are afforded and what they deserve. And so I'm very proud of them. I'm envious of them, because when you're inside of something, you forget that it's almost like you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to speak up, because you don't want to lose your position. You're afraid of getting fired, whatever it is. And my challenge to you all is, don't let that happen to you. Don't let somebody ever tell you what you're worth. And the fact that Hillary Clinton will be our next president, I think... Does that answer your question? I'm long-winded, so you can tell me to shut up. But if you do, that would be awesome.
So I was wondering, what were some of the people or experiences that have inspired you to take on this sort of role?
I like that question a lot, because you guys may not know this, but I went to an all-girls high school. Did you guys hear her? Is that your call, or?
It's kind of my call.
Okay. And ironically, all of my classmates from high school, there were all these really badass women, and I think that there's something to be said about it. And it's when you wake up, especially in high school, when you're so capable of being swayed one way or another. I basically stepped into my corduroy navy blue pants that I accordion down every day, and I'd step into them every morning and I'd pull them up. I didn't care what I dressed like. I wasn't worried about my popularity. I basically was working on sports and school, and so all of my friends are really successful, and they're capable of having a conversation. And so I really attribute a lot of my success and confidence in the fact that I went to an all-girls high school. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. In fact, I say that everywhere. Obviously my family was very instrumental. And something that you guys have to understand, you're in a time period, especially graduates, that the next coming years will be really hard. Transition. I'm going through it right now, and I'm not shy about talking about it, because nobody talks about having really difficult times. Everybody hides and pretends and puts a mask on or puts a different costume on to pretend that they look cool or their life is the perfect life. Nobody has a perfect life. I'm the first one to sit here and tell you that. Transitioning from the identity as a soccer player to now, who am I? What am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? What are my real goals in life? I have to kind of recalibrate my own self and my own identity. And so you guys are all going to do that at some point over the next few years. yours. And if you feel lost and that you don't know what the hell you're doing or where you're going, it's okay. Join the human race. Welcome. And even if like you look at your parents and they may have like a goal and a direction, or other people who are maybe more into the workplace, they still don't know what the hell they're doing. We don't. We're just all every single day trying to figure it out. And that's the beauty of it all. You know, every day is a gift, and I don't even remember I get so lost in my own self. I'm like having like an existential crisis, I think. So like I was joking about this with a few people. Like sometimes when I give some of these speeches and do some of these Q&As, I'm actually talking to myself. Like some of the things that I say, motivationally, inspirational, like I'm like trying to actually, it's like mind over matter, like if I'm gonna fake it till I make it. What was your question? I don't even know. Inspires, yeah. High school, got it. Here I am. See, I'm having fun. Alright. I don't know, do you guys have something set up? Or are you gonna do one more question?
Yeah. Gigi has a question. Okay, so
is it hot in here? Is there like a pool nearby? Like the gym always is hotter if a pool's nearby? I'm actually sweating. Are you? Look good though, you look good. I already complimented her shoes. Her shoes are cooler, but I like her. This is hysterical. Back on track.
Alright, you've had a long career, right? 15 years playing internationally.
Yep, I'm old.
How were you able to remain so dominant for so long?
I don't know. I really don't know. Especially now, I've had like time. You know, I'm writing this book, and it comes out in September. What a pain in the ass. If you ever think about writing a book, think again. And punch yourself in the face and then pretend to go forward doing it. No, it's really, it's been cathartic in a lot of ways because I've been able to go back through my history and really think about what was meaningful and what impacted me and what didn't and what hurt and what felt good, and trying to, you know, make sense of my time as a player and what worked and what didn't. And I will be honest, you guys have to read my book to get to the real good stuff. A lot of it I was just really naturally gifted, right? So I played sports growing up, and when I was 5 years old, I scored like 27 goals. I was just telling your AD this. I scored 27 goals in my first 3 games, right? And, right? You guys did that, right? And my mom, she sits me in her car and we're driving home, and she said, well, Abby, why didn't you pass the ball? And I just, matter of fact, like black and white, linear, like, well, isn't the whole point to score as many goals as you possibly can, more than the other team? And she was like, yeah. And I said, well, I'm the best one to do it, so why not? And I was 5, and she said it was so weird because you weren't being like obnoxious or like arrogant. You were just like, it was just a fact, you know, like you were the best one to do the job, and so you just did it. And I think that has a lot to do with the success that I've had throughout my life playing soccer, and it's opened up so many doors for me to expand my dreams and my wishes and my education and my heart, because, you know, I've always, my mom used to make me like write out speeches when I was like young, and I hated it. And so now it's why I just jibber jabber, because I've given so many speeches that like I don't need to write them down, and I can just talk until everybody falls asleep and it's good. So I don't know, I worked really hard, and that's obviously an element into any successful person. I think the difference between me and maybe somebody else was just the mentality piece, that I believe everybody in this gymnasium, everybody in the world has something to gift to our world. And if you have the ability to muster whatever that gift is, and muster the ability to put yourself in that sixth gear, I believe everybody has the chance to change the world on some level. It might be small, but it's still something. And I was able to muster my ability and to be able to put it towards good use. And here I am, getting my honorary degree from Smith College.
Okay, so before turning it over to the
I
audience.
feel like it's so weird that you guys are far away from me.
Can we scooch a little closer? Would it be weird? Much better. Okay, so we have some quick questions for you to answer. Okay. On the spot, you ready?
Like lightning round?
Yeah. Okay. Favorite pregame meal?
Now? Okay, salad with chicken on it. Boring, I know, but it's true.
Least favorite fitness test?
The Cooper.
Most favorite?
None. I mean, and nobody likes fitness tests.
Okay, and one song on your pregame warm up?
I like the songs that people want to maybe jump off bridges to before games. No, seriously, like I like listening to like really sad music.
Oh, that's sad.
It's not sad. Not for me. It worked.
She has a point. Okay.
Biggest match day superstition?
I have to put my socks on the same way, my cleats on, my shin guards, tape my ring finger. It's obnoxious. Go.
One player you would have loved to play with but didn't.
I don't feel that way. Ever. I don't feel like envy or like I wish I lived in a different time, like, ever.
Toughest defender you've ever faced?
Christy Rampone.
Favorite activity to do on your day off?
Nothing.
That's it? Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, so we have questions. We have time for questions from you guys. Gigi, I think we're on.
Good job, you guys.
Two things. First one, how do you feel that other women's national team sports who maybe have the same success that the women's soccer team have, like what things do you think they could do to maybe kind of like have this like stardom? Because like I'm a basketball player, basketball fan, I enjoy it, but there's not this like kind of wide like
I've struggled to figure out the answer to that question for a lot of years because I'm like, why are we like icons on some level? And it hasn't always been this way. I know that it might seem or feel that way for you, but it just hasn't. Early on in my career, Mia was on the team, and she was like the icon, right? And then there was probably 7-year gap between her retiring and then the next team. You know, the 2011 World Cup team was really when it kind of started taking off again. So the answer, there is no real answer to that but I do think the more we talk about women's rights and equal pay for equal play, there is, more potential for growth from my perspective in the business world. So I believe that what we've been able to do over the last 10 years from a women's soccer perspective is give hope and structure to investing in women's sports and it being a smart decision, like the right choice for businesses, rather than it being like the feel good, I'm going to do the moral right thing. It's actually the smart thing. You know, Fox invested a lot of money last summer on the World Cup, the Women's World Cup, and it paid dividends for our federation. You know, our women's team brought in $16 million, and the men's team lost $2 million. So if you do the math, and I think that I have nothing against the men's team at all. But just remember this, when you become enslaved to something, you forget that you're being mistreated, right? And getting paid equally should be a human right, should be a civil liberty that all people are granted. And the fact that I think now the percentage is 76 to 79 cents on the dollar a woman makes in difference to what a man makes. And think about that. For somebody who has the exact same credentials, it's because she has a vagina and has to make a baby and maybe take some time off. Well, I think that policy needs to change. I think that there needs to be mandatory paternity leave as much as that there's maternity leave. Some of the most diverse countries have that, you know, and that's hopefully where I'm expanding to, what I want to get to. You know, I don't really like being really political because it's kind of dirty to me, but I believe in things. So I believe in things, and that makes me kind of political, and I hope that the national teams and other women's teams in different leagues can learn from our national team, because and also patience, right? You can't expect things to just fall on your lap and be put on a silver platter. Like, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. There were a lot of women, you know, for instance, like, this may be shocking news to you guys, but Mia was and is still such a sports icon, but she wasn't making what you guys think she made. Like, the reality of that situation is so different. You know, Gatorade and Nike really marketed her, and they weren't probably paying her a fraction of what they pay the men to do probably a fraction of the work that she had to do to create her name and all that. So, good question.
Okay, this one, it's, no, but can we take a selfie?
Come on up
At the
here.
end, there's 10.
She's not listening. She's from Smith College. Yay. Nobody else do that. One more. We just got here. We can do a few more. Although I am sweating. Go ahead.
Since you recently joined the ranks as an ESPN analyst, what are you most excited for or looking forward to the most in the coming years in this new line of work?
I don't know, actually, because, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to like. And the thing that's been really cool about this ESPN gig is that I don't know what I'm going to like. So, you know, I'm going to be an analyst. I'm going to probably do some E60 work outside the lines. Obviously be an analyst for soccer, do podcasts, which you guys should all listen to. So they're basically paying me to figure out what I like, which is nice. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. No problem. But I think that I like to talk, and I'm very opinionated, and I'm not afraid to share my opinion. And that's kind of what my podcast is premised around, is having a conversation. It's actually called Fearless Conversation with Abby Wambach. That's me. It's so weird. I've had to say that in the last couple days because I just did my episode 0, and I have to say with Abby Wambach, and it's just such a bizarre thing to say, so I don't know. Yeah, come up with a theme, come up with a topic of discussion, and I'm going to have experts for the pro side and experts for the anti side, kind of a debate, and they'll be on at different times, and you'll be able to make up your own mind how you view that specific topic. I'll obviously opinionate at the end what I think, but I sure as hell know that I do not know everything, and I still have firm beliefs and stuff, but I haven't heard the other side, right? And I think that we pigeonhole ourselves as humans, that we don't listen, and our whole society at least our society was built on the idea that we could disagree. We've lost that, right? We're either so far left or so far right. Don't worry, I'm very liberal, but we don't give the opportunity to agree to disagree anymore. And I think that really sucks. You know, I think that we have to, as a human race, in order to actually continue to evolve in a positive way, we have to be like, you know what, that's interesting. I don't agree with you, but that's very interesting, you know, and that has to be okay. We don't have to always be right. You know, social media, you think expands your friend group, but really what it does is shrink you, because you only follow the people that you follow and that you like and that you agree with. So that's really shrinking your heart, and I want to keep expanding my heart. So check to the tab line, I guess, on the ESPN app, or go to iTunes and subscribe if you want to pay attention. If not, I really don't care. Honestly.
Okay, next question.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering, we obviously see a lot of the women's team on the screen just because, well, I watch a lot of the women's game, like, religiously, so what is your favorite off-the-screen moment, like, behind doors, like, just with the team, like, in a huddle or something that's happened?
I think that that's actually the best parts, right? Like, you would think that playing and winning and all that stuff is fun, it's cool because it's what you see, but the best parts are, like, in the locker room. I'm always trying to mess up somebody's pregame ritual with, like, dancing on them. And if you know me, I suck at dancing, so. What else? Meals. I like food, and I like to, with the team, just sit around. You know, when we're on the road for 3 weeks at a time or 6 weeks at a time, it gets really boring, and you have to, like, have conversations. And to be quite honest, it's actually where I got the idea for this podcast, because we have, you know, a lot of type A women who think that they know everything, and they're right about everything. And so it was always really fun for me to go and have a meal and sit down and have a conversation about different stuff, things that I don't know about, you know, and belief systems that I don't believe in. And I don't know, I think that it's an important thing. So yeah, locker rooms and meal rooms were my favorite.
So on an extension of what we've been talking about, I personally have been going into coaching recently, and I wanted your thoughts on the discrepancy in men coaching women's sports, because I've been encountering a lot of problems where just because they are male, they become the authority on the field, even if it's between me as a head coach and another team who has a male head coach, he'll get listened to a lot more, or his opinion is given weight.
Totally understand that, and it's funny because for so long there was just female coaches, right? And now that money is getting kind of fluxed into women's sports, men are like, ooh, I'm gonna go over here, you know, and try to do whatever I can. And obviously there's some outliers who've been in it from the beginning, but I think, to me, that sounds like a really good challenge, right? Like, if you feel like people are listening to a man more than you, I think that that's more fear-based than probably reality. Even if, like, it is true, like, just ignore that and keep your head going in the direction you want it to go to. Because the thing is, for me, it's not like, I don't want like 100% women ruling the world. Like, we need men also. We need men to evolve as a race and be able to expand who we are. And I need guys in my life to give me something. I don't know how to say this. Clearly, we all know what I'm not talking about. But like their perspective and their viewpoint on stuff and their ability to not care what other people think, you know, for the most part. So that's what I would suggest and challenge you to do, is just keep doing what you're doing, you know, keep the fight going, because 50%, you know, we can only be a part of 50% of every situation that we go into, every interaction, and I believe that to have a real, true basis of equality, you need men just as much as you need us badasses. Oh, her friends are like raising her hand. Choose her. Hi, what's your name?
Cameo.
What is it?
Cameo.
Cool. I've never heard that. I like that. You guys are throwing your friends under the bus like every which.
It's always said that I think by one of your like high school coaches or something, they used to drink like 6 Cokes a day for breakfast or whatnot. I'm just wondering how you went from that to being a national player. Like what you said that
How did you do that? I don't know.
You said that you had like a switch that just flipped. But what did it? Was it just like a different perspective on the sport or?
Yeah, so somebody told me that I could be on the national team, and I believed them. And that's the thing about having mentors and people in your life that can give you inspiration or motivate you or educate you or whatever. Half of that battle is how it lies on you and how you take that on, right? And when this coach told me, Abby, if you get really fit, you will be on the national team. It was the first time in my life. Like, I had been told, like, you're going to be on the national team one day, blah, blah, blah. I didn't really, like, care. I was drinking 6 Cokes a day. You know what I mean? And once you actually, it's like saying out loud your goals or writing them down and giving them to somebody. Once you actually put it out in the universe, like, you're now accountable for it. So as soon as I made myself accountable for my fitness, it was like a switch, and that is who I am. I've always been that way. You might not be. It's harder for some people to like give up stuff. I've always been able to just like stop like quickly. So that wasn't that hard for me to get really fit, and that really was the thing that changed the course of my life, because it wasn't even about like being able to run faster or further. It was like the confidence in being able to say that I've actually checked everything off the boxes to be able to achieve the most success that I could possibly get. But I know it's kind of gross that I did that in high school. Although after, it's been almost 6 months and I have like love handles now. I was like, what? I like walked by myself in like the bathroom and I was like, I'm not kidding. I swear. Don't retire.
Questions? Next. Yes. Hi, so we're the group of swimmers and we were actually just discussing in the Olympics, the women still swim the 800 meter and the men swim the 1500 meter or the mile. What do you think would be like the first step to getting that changed and to let women swim that longer distance in the pool?
Well, first of all, I'm a sinker, so I'd be like, fine with 800. Not a very good swimmer. No, I mean, that's stupid. Like, really? It's not like they can't, like the women swim forever. Like, Missy Franklin is amazing. I mean, the first step would be, obviously those women would have to put up a fight to be swimming the same distance as the men. Do the women have less meets or races because of it? Just it's not an Olympic sport. There's not an Olympic medal or race for it. Well, those women need to step up. Maybe you guys can step up. You guys seem to be good at like fighting and getting outside and like creating picket signs for maybe things.
Question? Hey, so you touched earlier on, you said something about, you were talking about transitional points in your life, and as a lot of us are graduating this weekend, what do you think is the best way to prepare yourself for not knowing what's next?
Don't prepare yourself. I swear, because I have stressed myself out for the last 2 years, like not knowing if it was going to happen this year or next year after the Olympics. And you waste so much valuable time in the present moment of worrying about something that you have no idea what you're going to do. It's stupid. It's actually unintelligent. Stay in your body, be present, experience, and you're going to have days when you're going to want to feel like you're going to die because you for me, for instance, for 30 years, I've been basically told what to do, when to do it, where to do it, and why. For 30 years. I'm 35 and I feel like I'm 5 years old. I'm not kidding. This is actually real stuff right now. And I have to relearn things that maybe you guys have already learned. Relearn, okay, what do I do today? What do I do this moment, And I think it's also doable, but it's practice, right? It's a muscle that you haven't learned how to flex yet. And that's going to take time. Think about how long it took you to be good at playing soccer, or how long it took you to be good at reading, whatever it is, It takes a long time to learn things. And then of course, it takes a long time to unlearn things, right? I played soccer for 30 years. I'm good. I don't really want to play anymore. I don't know if it's because it's been 30 years and I just finished, but I'm good. So I'm learning to do different things, and it's frustrating because I really stink at playing golf. But it's something I can do for the rest of my life, and so it's just you gotta do things one moment almost at a time. But you can't plan for something that you don't know, And I think that's kind of something that isn't talked about a lot. There's a lot of evidence now and research that shows after high school, people taking a year off from going to college is really beneficial to figure yourself out a little bit. My advice would be go get a tent and go camping for a couple weeks and figure your stuff out. I don't know. Next question, number 20 in the back. I'm going to call you out. You've been raising your hand every time, and you're the only one in here that maybe has a number 20 jersey on. Okay, but that's your Smiths one, come on.
Go for it.
You were so mad, by the way, when you didn't get picked the last time. She was like, raise my hand every time. I saw you.
Not here.
Mine's just more of a soccer question. You've had a comparatively long career in sports, and you played all over the world. So I was just wondering what's the greatest atmosphere / stadium you've ever played in, and what was it like to be in that moment?
I think in the 2011 World Cup when we scored that goal against Brazil in the last few seconds of the game, that was pretty amazing. Winning the World Cup this last summer was ridiculous. All the games were so cool because it was we were playing in a home game because it was so close, right? It was in Canada. But what takes me back the most and makes me most proud is a post I saw a couple months ago. 2005 picture of an aerial shot of a stadium, and then a 2015 picture of an aerial shot of the stadium. And there was 500 people in the 2005 shot, and then a completely full Chattanooga stadium. And to look at both of those images and know that I was in both stadiums was one of the more proud moments because it's a visual. I'm very visual. So it was holy moly, over 10 years, we really did something. And, the women's team sold out a game in Colorado in 13 minutes or something. We're talking about women's sports, and that these women are now hey, I expect to be treated equally. Do you know how long time this has been coming? And now it's okay, yeah. And it's been the work of thousands and millions of women around the world, and men too, by the way. There have been a lot of men that are very much our supporters. And that's something I'm just proud of, that I'm a very small piece of that puzzle. Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things I'm most proud of, for sure. Okay, one more question, I think.
Yes.
Oh man. Don't apologize.
Okay, so my question is, well, women's soccer is, for a lot of the time, marketed towards a demographic of like little girls and stuff. I think primarily the NWSL is like...
That's my freaking assistant over there. She's interrupting the question.
It's like very aimed at little girls. And so my question is, do you think that that is detrimental to the growth of the game, and would it benefit from being marketed to people who are older and would be able to like financially support and like buy into a league?
Well, I think that from a business perspective, yeah, that makes most sense. But do you ever think about when you were 5 or 10? No, seriously, like, I only watched male sports stars because there were none that were playing. There were no women playing sports professionally when I was 5 and 10. And I like to kind of visualize it in this sense. As like a 5 or 10-year-old, I like look up and figure out, okay, what am I gonna do? What do I want to be? You know, like if the rest of your life ahead of you, and you're trying to figure out what you're gonna love, what you want to do, and if you see it, you can kind of be it, right? So if you see somebody doing something that looks like you, that talks like you, that walks like you, that plays the same sport as you, or the same instrument as you, then you can actually put yourself in their shoes on some level. And that's something that I take very seriously. So I think about that very much for a 5 or 10-year-old. Because that dream, even if they don't accomplish it, that dream is everything. The passion in which you take through your life is built when you're a kid. And it makes you get up in the morning, and it impassions you to work hard, and it hopefully, in my mind, impassions you to work hard for other people, because that always brings back goodness into your world. And, you know, I think about Hillary, and I think about having a woman sitting in the most powerful seat in the lands, and think about the 10-year-old girl. Think about your 10-year-old self, and like what that would feel like to be like, oh, I can be the commander-in-chief of our country. And then like take yourself out of it and think about the 10-year-old boy. Because that 10-year-old boy goes to school the next day and goes, she could be the commander-in-chief. My friend, my 10-year-old friend. That is something. That is really, really, really something. And I'm lucky that it's happening in my lifetime. I know that when we came back from the 2011 and 2015 World Cup, I know that girls could walk a little bit taller going to school. So the fact that our sport is a little bit marketed towards the younger kids, I think it's perfect. Because that's like the grassroots stuff. And that's what women do. We don't forget about where we came from, you know? Thank you guys so much.
Finally meet the person behind this creepy face that's being carried around campus. Yeah, sorry. But the soccer team would like to present you with our number 20 jersey, but with your name on that. Woo! Yes.
Sure, go for it.
Oh,